Rogan discusses the pros and cons of using poverty as a motivator. Oh my God. Peak liberalism in action, dude. Joe Rogan. Oh, that's so good. I love that. Let's hear what Mr. Capitalist has to say about using poverty as a motivator.
Socially liberal. Like about a socially liberalist. Like I'm very socially liberal.
But I'm fiscally conservative.
About a socially liberalist you get.
A cap on that one, I think. But let's continue.
But more and more as I get older, I start looking at things from a perspective of being a pragmatist. And I start looking at things instead of looking at what do I hope people will do if you give them free money and if you give them free education, if you give them free this and free that and take care of them, I start going, well, what does that do to the psyche?
Yeah.
And does that force laziness? Like if everyone in this country, let's imagine a world where everyone in this country gets $50,000 a year.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Wow, Joe Rogan is so unique. I love his takes, man. He's so fucking unique. Exactly like every other boomer in this fucking dumbass country, dude. I swear to God. Wow, what an incredible outside of the bounds take from Joe. He truly does speak for one, the common man, and two, certainly very different than the kinds of ideas that you would hear on MSNBC. At this point, if you're still listening to the Joe Rogan Experience, how is the Joe Rogan Experience any fucking different than MSNBC? They're also socially liberal, but fiscally deeply conservative. They're also not that liberal either, or fuck MSNBC, CNN, or Fox News. This is just the same shit that you hear. You could hear this from your dad.
How much less productive would we be? It would probably be horrific. Now, I want to live in a world where...
This is universal basic income.
Yeah. I mean, I want to live in a world where no one has...
Yeah, Joe bringing up moral hazard, dude. What a new idea. Never heard that before from the American Enterprise Institute. You know what I mean? Homie literally said, if we give the poor too much money, they won't be productive. They won't clean my fucking toilets, which is hilarious because it is like the fundamental concept of neoliberalism. Like you're basically describing classical economics and you're making it seem as though this is a new take. That's great.
Has to worry about how to feed themselves. No one has to worry about how to put a roof over their head. All you have to worry about is what do you want to do? What would best serve your interests, and also how could you provide a service or whether it's art or something that other people are going to enjoy and appreciate, and that could elevate you past the middle class, past making $50,000 a year, into becoming, affluent. Wouldn't that be nice if you didn't have to struggle and spend your resources thinking about how am I going to feed myself, and instead let me write the best book I can write. Instead, let me create the best film. Let me make.
Can you get paid on top of the 50,000?
Yes.
This? Okay.
Yeah, that's the idea. But I don't think it would work. I think we would lose a lot of great people because I think there's a lot of.
What? Bro. Dude, what? I know what he's gonna say. I don't want to hear it. He's gonna say a lot of people are they develop their personality through that struggle.
People that are motivated by desperation. They're motivated by this kick in the ass where you have, like, I have friends that had children, and once they had children, they became fucking hyper ambitious because they realized, oh my God.
Bro, he's literally doing the meme. It's like, go ahead, lower the minimum wage. It'll only make me grind harder. Go ahead, bro. Fucking make life harder, bro. That only makes my my Sigma grind set work extra hard.
I have to pay for this little baby. And then they realize, like,
it does turn you into an adult.
Yeah.
Because you're like, these people are,
bro, what the fuck do either of you know about being a fucking adult? Like, at least I recognize I'm a fucking baby. You know what I mean? At least I recognize that I'm a spoiled little baby. Okay, I'm a very, very fortunate person. And people get mad at me and constantly repeat that shit. They're like, dude, you're such a baby. You're so spoiled. I'm like, yeah, no, I am. I am. Okay, I get to work for myself. I get to have like the best fucking life. You know, it's sick. It's awesome. Then you turn around and you listen to Joe and he's like, yeah, poverty's a good motivator. He's just as much as a baby as I am. He's literally more financially successful than I am. And yet you think because he's saying the things that you are conditioned into believing, it's like, nah, he's right.
I'm responsible for these people.
Yes. It's a completely different kind of feeling. But I wonder, but I don't want people to live in poverty. Yeah. Poverty sucks. It's a terrible place to be desperate, and that causes a lot of crime. It causes a lot of violence. There's a lot that's attached to poverty that's horrific. However, it is an incredible motivator to get people to get moving and to do something. And desperation, much like loss and humiliation, are great motivators to make you work harder, to be better at whatever thing you were attempting to do that failed. There's something about being poor that forces people into this feeling, this hunger that causes greatness in so many human beings, so many artists, so many great musicians, so many great comedians, and so many great people that have accomplished amazing things came out of nothing. And there's this inherent hunger and this desire to be someone, to be something that creates greatness that gets recognized by so many people and enriches so many people's lives. If you think about how many hip-hop artists who are so poor became so rich and inspired so many people with their music, how many comedians did the same, how many people who wrote books.
Bro, he's just saying hunger is the best motivator. But then he like literally sits across from Elon Musk and sucks his cock. You think Elon Musk was ever hungry? What do you mean hunger is the great motivator? If anything, hunger is something that you have to overcome, dumbass. And the entire purpose of the original hypothetical that you brought up with like giving everyone $50,000 would personally make people's lives much better and unlock the fucking hidden potential that everyone has. That is at the basis of the equality of opportunity. These motherfuckers so regularly shit on the fundamental American principle, equality of opportunity. We have equal opportunity in this country, equal opportunity in this country. And then he literally will say, well, let's give equal opportunity to every single person. Then he's like, oh, well, hunger is a great motivator. Never mind. This is oh God, it is so incredibly fucking out of touch, dude. But what do I always say? I say meritocracy is a fucking lie. And it's a lie sold to you so you believe that your class positioning can change, even though all empirical evidence suggests the exact opposite, that you are not likely, you are not likely to move up, and upward social mobility is absolutely way more difficult in a country like this as a consequence, a clear-cut consequence of a lack of amenities in comparison to European countries, social democracies, where social mobility, upward social mobility is way more likely. Even then, it's super limited, though. And meritocracy, that lie, can only be told by those examples of the once in every fucking billion people that have that rags the riches story. Well, these guys made it. These guys made it, so you can too. It's such a stupid, flawed way of looking at the world. It is so hyper-capitalist. Because, as many in the chat also pointed out, well, what about all the hungry people that don't fucking become successful, right? The hidden narrative, the underlying premise there is a really gross one. It's a gross premise because the concept there is, the underlying premise there is that they just didn't work hard enough. Okay? You're just basically erasing probability from the equation. Probability, your spawn point, where you were born, your zip code. Okay? Which country you were born in. That has a far greater emphasis on the likelihood of success. Not hunger, not anything else. It's crazy. Yes, people succeed in spite of poverty and never because of it. You're right. You're absolutely correct. Calvinist predestination fallacy.
Have come out of utter poverty, and through the struggle and pain of their existence,
Yeah, and like a million more of them don't. So those guys, I guess they didn't just, work hard enough. This is the most out of touch, mathematically speaking, this is the most out of touch fucking commentary you could make. Straight up. Joe has lost the last remaining bastion of fucking humanity that he had within him and has now officially become the total fucking capitalist pig dog. You know what I mean? Just oinking. Like, there were times when Joe, as a consequence of his own personal background, because he wasn't super rich when he was growing up, before he got really fucking lucky and made it big in Hollywood, which is really a once in a lifetime, once in every fucking million opportunity, right? Before he struck gold, actually worked in constructions. He was construction yards. He was on food stamps. Exactly. His parents were poor. His mom was poor. And here's the thing. Because of that, he used to routinely advocate for the everyday guy, the layman, the average Joe. Okay? He did. Remember how he would like fucking shit on Dave Rubin when Dave Rubin had like these libertarian idiotic concepts like Yelp reviews for business contractors. You know what I mean? Like he was like, no, that doesn't work, idiot. He at the very least every now and then would arrive at the correct take because of his own personal experiences that he wasn't so far removed from. But I guess a $500 million Spotify contract really changes your mentality and the way you fucking see the world, you know? He 100% was told this morning by one of his kids they don't have to work for a living. It's insane to think if people's basic needs are cared for, they won't want to work for nicer things. I still want a PS5 on universal income. Yeah, I mean, there's that, and then there's other motivators as well. It is so heartless to think like a capitalist. It is so devoid of anything that makes us truly human when you think like a machine, okay? When you're like, no, the only way that someone will ever fucking work is for survival, is to make money. Money is the primary motivator. That's it. There's no other way. You can't have a sense of ownership over your own business in the same way that Joe has, in the same way that I do. You know what I mean? You can't allow other people to have that. There can never be any other underlying reasons as to why someone wants to be successful. It's just purely to survive on subsistence wages. It's purely to survive and put a roof over your head. There's no other reason. And if you don't make sure that the system is designed around keeping people subjugated in that way so that they're destined for a lifetime of wage slavery, they'll become poor leeches. They'll become unproductive workers. Crazy.
Gave life to their words in a way that you're just not going to get sleeping on silk sheets.
Yeah, but are you sleeping on silk sheets making 50 grand a year?
No.
Probably not. So there's probably a number,
but
right?
Yeah,
there's like a subsistence number.
But you don't. But then again, it's like how much encourages people to just exist.
That's a crazy argument, man. That's weird how all the spouting this desperation mentality are weird, out of touch rich people. Yeah, I just don't understand that at all, dude. The argument that poverty is a good motivator is the same as arguing that having a literal gun to your head is a good motivator. Fear of death and desperation does motivate people, but it's definitely not the best way and is often causing more harm than good. Rogan arguing that poverty has motivated many famous comedians and other successful people is a selection bias. He meets only with successful comedians who grew up in poverty, but the reason they were successful is not because they were poor as kids, but because they had immense talent, luck. Also, there are many more that grow up in poverty that never grow up to meet Rogan because they're dead or in jail and not performing at the Comedy Store. So good. Incredible fucking take. The thing is, a lot of his listeners and the 90 million people that listen to him are American. So because they're American, they personally see themselves not as like abused and exploited people, abused and exploited workers that are destined for a lifetime of servile subjugation, but temporarily embarrassed millionaires, you know? That's it. I don't know. I think people are starting to see through it as our money continues to get less valuable. See. The gun to your head is a perfect example. Yeah, I think I'm going to steal that from the Redditor and use it in the future. I'd do some horrible things with a gun to my head. It's not going to motivate me to be better. Poverty is dehumanizing. Yeah, that's a really, really good I use that quote all the time because of you. It's amazing agitprop. I mean, I didn't write it. Socialism will never work in this country because the working class do not see themselves as an exhausted, abused, exploited proletariat, but temporarily embarrassed millionaires. I didn't come up with that quote. Steinbeck did.